those questions ready. Oh man, 10 seconds. Welcome to Solid Saturday.
Welcome to Solid Saturday, Mr. Dan Rubenstein. Sir, how are you this fine morning?
Who's to say how we are really in the grand scheme of things? I'm okay. How are you?
I am doing well. Can you believe it? We made it to championship weekend. We made it to week 14. We did it. We made it the whole way through.
We are champions of Saturday morning of championship weekend. I've had a great time doing this. I don't love doing it when my team loses in embarrassing fashion on Friday night, but it was something I got used to after these last couple of weeks against Utah. So I couldn't tell you I'm fully surprised and shocked as I posted. I don't know if you saw, I posted like a minute-long video last night.
I saw it.
11 something Central Time. Just because I'm committed to the bit at this point of the reaction videos, whether or not it's somebody getting hired or choosing to leave a job and out of a complete surprise, whatever, I commit to it. But the thing is, Oregon can't hurt me today because I've got Baylor, Oklahoma. I mean, they could. I mean, Mario Cristobal very well looks like he could be leaving for another job, and Oregon has to start fully all over. But it doesn't matter because we have Baylor, Oklahoma State kicking off in an hour. Do we not?
We do.
We have Alabama, Georgia kicking off in a few hours. We have Pitt-Wake Forest. We have Houston-Cincinnati. We have Kent State, Northern Illinois, Ty. I will drug myself with all of these things to make the feel-bads go away.
The feel-bads go away. We will talk about the Oregon game here momentarily. Sure. We're also going to talk about all of the games this weekend. We've only got 9 to worry about. I guess that's if you include the USC Cal postponement.
Not worried.
The California drive for 5, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Don't forget to go on out to our website, solidverbal.com. That's where you can find everything we do. We've got a whole slew of links down in the description. If you haven't yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. It does help, and you'll be notified anytime we post something new. Because, look, we're just getting started here with bowl season. We're going to have a contest, which we're going to announce tomorrow on the show. If you want to get in on a bowl pool, a fun one that we run every year. Again, solidverbal.com is the website. That's where you can find all that stuff, as well as the description down below. Please do hit subscribe, Dan. Why don't we start with the Oregon game last night?
No.
Let's just get it out of the way. Rip the Band-Aid right off.
I'm opting out. I'm just like I assume Kayvon Thibodeau out of the Alamo Bowl. I'm just opting out. Okay, fine.
What happened?
I have no value to add. Ty, I really don't.
Okay. No value to add. That's fine.
Okay, but I'll still talk about it. Yeah.
Was it the same game essentially as the first time around?
I thought they were more creative in their fuck-ups. Sorry for my language. I thought they were more like Anthony Brown jump throwing it as he's falling out of bounds, which is like day one of learning how to be a quarterback. Like, don't do that. That's not the way you should be doing things. I just like, I thought Herbstreit and Fowler were exceedingly professional when they went to like the behind camera, the coach's cam, when they're like, well, this is a play designed to hit the tight end right here for a 17-yard gain straight up the middle. And Anthony Brown has to sort of look at the linebacker he's running by and throw it over his head. And he didn't. And he didn't. So there were opportunities there. But Utah's a better team. It's one of those things where you can talk about Oregon's talent. You can talk about the games Oregon has won, Ohio State, the way that they won games in the Pac-12. Utah's just a better team. Utah's a better team. And I don't fully agree with the like, oh, they whipped them up front. They out-schemed them. I thought Oregon's defense came to play in that first half, right? It was 14
Yeah.
nothing. I know that they had the interception and whatever, but it was 14 nothing. There was like a couple questionable calls on that first drive. They had a pick six off of a terrible Anthony Brown throw that he was baited into throwing. But the thing is, Oregon's defense came to play. I think Utah had 2 yards per carry in the first half.
Right.
You can only do so much if the quarterback doesn't exist in a way that he can lead the ball and the team downfield in any sort of meaningful way. And the coaching staff doesn't have faith in anybody behind him, because we've had this conversation. This has been Anthony Brown all year. So I don't know what I can add to this. This was nothing new. This was like they won these games. They won a bunch of clunker performances out of the quarterback position, but it was the worst possible way to go 10-2. It was just not a fun season at all. There were fun moments, there were fun plays, there were fun players on both sides of the ball, but the Oregon football experience this year has been fully underwhelming and suboptimal. And I'm not going to say bon voyage to Mario Cristobal, because I think he still has done a good job at Oregon, all things considered. And the quarterback has been an issue in terms of recruiting and developing and getting guys from the transfer portal, whatever. But also, I'm not going to miss nights like last night. I'm just not. If and when he takes off. I don't like the process of hiring a new coach and new assistants and fully starting over again. Oregon's a tricky place, but it's just not fun. Being an Oregon fan is not fun.
Especially I think the hard part, and I'm not an Oregon fan, I know you are.
Yeah.
I think the hard part, at least from afar, is hearing time and again how Mario Cristobal is instilling this SEC mentality. Right?
Yeah.
More physical at the point of attack. And they just got bullied again. Now, Oregon's had a ton of injuries. It's been a recurring thing throughout the year that, we've talked about on the podcast, but they got blown off the ball again last night.
I don't think they did. Here's the thing. They eventually did. Like, if the defense is out there forever and ever and ever because the offense can't do anything, like, I get it. Yeah, you're going to wear down, right? If you're put in that kind of position. First of all, Utah's good, but Oregon, like, the offensive line was fine. Like, Anthony Brown, like, when they were backed up on like 2nd and 23 after that bad snap, Utah ran a twist that Oregon's offensive line picked up fine. It was a clean pocket. Anthony Brown, and he just started, like, he's a good runner and he's a terrible improviser climbing the pocket. Like, there were a lot of plays that were just on him. The sacks that were on him that he was freaking out about and let his eyes get the best of him. I thought Utah clearly was the better team and won that game. I just didn't think they were dominant in the trenches. I thought they were good, but I thought Oregon's players were good as well.
Well, again, your final was 38-10, an unceremonious way to go down for the Oregon Ducks to close out their season. Who knows what the future holds for Mario Cristobal? Rumors have swirled about his potential interest in returning to Miami. And kudos to the Utah Utes. It's been a challenging season for the Utes. They really came on second half of the year. They finished 10-3, 8-1 in conference. They were 17th going into that game. They will obviously move up after yet another dominating performance over Oregon. Yeah. So credit to Kyle Whittingham for pulling that ship together out in Salt Lake City, because it's been a really tough year. So kudos.
Yeah, and tremendous. I mean, the not even just the trying year, just Utah's never been to the Rose Bowl. They've been a Power 5 program for not all that long, but they've been a top flight program for a good amount of time. And Utah fans get to go to Pasadena, and I think they get to measure themselves against, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens in the Big Ten championship, but it's looking like Ohio State. It's looking like Ohio State is that team if Michigan takes care of business. So, I mean, it's kind of a dream to watch your team go to the Rose Bowl for the first time, to be in that stadium. I know people like outside of the Midwest and the West Coast are like, it's just another game. Okay, don't go. That's fine.
Yeah.
Stay where it's humid and freezing. I don't care.
All right. Well, again, Utah wins in dominating fashion on Friday night.
Yeah.
We also had a win for the UTSA Roadrunners, Dan.
Yes, sir.
49-41, a lot of points. Bailey Zappi, try as he might to will his team back to victory, had a shot at it with one final drive, but wasn't able to get the job done. A lot of points. Again, 49-41 was your final there. And the good news is that we got more games today, and we got potential chaos, and we're going to talk through all of that here. We appreciate everybody stopping by.
Yes,
we should point out first and foremost, this scale, this metric, this means of quantifying the excitement level on a week-to-week basis that we have been using on the stream. I feel like we need to use it forevermore. It's
You
just
think
really
it's
grown on us.
It's solid verbal canon. Look at that dog.
It is. Look at that.
I agree.
Look at that.
It's Jack Fowler's.
Jack Chris Fowler. That
Yeah.
was the picture from earlier in the year. We do have an updated photo that Chris Fowler shared on his Instagram earlier this week, do we not?
It's unbelievable. Look at this guy.
I mean, look at
this
this
guy.
It was described to me as, dude, he's got muscles inside of muscles.
I got to tell you, and this is a conversation for another day, at Bruin A, which is a show we do weekly during the season, and I think monthly, or maybe we'll do it weekly in the off season. We're figuring out our schedule. I have no desire to be a jacked older guy, right? Like that doesn't do it for me. I want to be active. I want to play sports, but putting in the time and the diet when you're pushing 60, no, 60 is that's sweatsuit time for me, Ty. I'm soft materials all day. I get that it feels great and it's great for him and he's probably going to live a longer life than I will. But no, that kind of work when you're 59, nah, I'm good.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Shall we dive in?
Oh my
Shall
God,
we dissect the week ahead?
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about some windows. I basically broke it into two.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, of course.
Let's
start early. We're starting early with our windows.
We gotta start early.
Fair enough. Here we go. That's not the early one.
There we go. No.
Oh, hold on. No, they're both wrong. Screw it. We'll just talk about the early games.
Baylor, Oklahoma State.
Baylor, Oklahoma State. Yes, sir.
Baylor, Oklahoma State. Baylor a 6.5 point dog at time of recording.
Yes.
That could change before we get to kickoff. Who knows? I have been on the record all week saying that I feel Oklahoma State's the better team. They've gotten better as the year has progressed. I don't trust that 6.5 number. So my inclination, as you will see when I get to my picks a little bit later on in the show, is to take Baylor plus the points. I do think Oklahoma State is the better team. And the first time these two teams played, Oklahoma State sort of dominated outside of two plays on the Baylor offense. Yes. Otherwise, they totally held them down, despite the fact that Spencer Sanders, I almost said Spencer Rattler, Spencer Sanders threw 3 picks in that game. So they won by 10, 24-14. They get another crack at it here. Their offense has been playing better since that first matchup. So it's too big a leap for me to say Oklahoma State's going to lose outright. It isn't to say that Baylor and Dave Aranda, which has been a fundamentally sound, pretty good team all year, will still find a way to keep that one within that number.
Yeah. It's Blake Shapen, by the way. Gary Bohannon has been ruled out. He is not starting. He is a long way off per Dave Aranda. So based on that, based on this stage, based on this moment, it would be wonderful if he just, in his, third game, seeing action, significant action, that he really comes into his own and rises to the occasion and is just a gamer. That'd be great. I'm going with the history of the sport here. And I'm going to say Oklahoma State, with that defense, with the amount of pressure and with how good they are, making you play your best game, which very few teams can do successfully against Oklahoma State. I think it's a comfortable poke win. Like 10 to 17 points, perhaps even with a backdoor cover part of it. So, yeah, I'm going Oklahoma State comfortable here.
I said on the preview show that if Gary Bohannon did not play, I would be heavy on Oklahoma State. And in light of the news, I wanted to check and see what the point spread did.
Yeah.
Point spread moved 1 point, which kind of surprised me. I know point spreads are not typically as reactive as you might think to a star player or a new circumstance popping up that changes the equation a little bit. Usually they remain pretty solid with where they're at, unless it's like a catastrophic thing.
Right.
I was surprised that it only moved 1 point. And so that, I think more than anything, you'll see, I have Baylor on my pick sheet here as we get a little bit deeper into this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised it didn't move more. It tells me that Vegas still likes Baylor in this game to some extent, and getting 6.5 points is, I'm gonna take the risk. So again, I'm with you. I'm with you. I like Oklahoma State. I share the same amount of hesitance, for lack of better terms, when it comes to Baylor's backup quarterback against the Jim Knowles Oklahoma State defense. That just brings them in waves. Mm-hmm. But I'm surprised it isn't more. Therefore, in terms of the point spread, I'll go Baylor.
Yeah, I think Blake Shapen is fine. I just think you need to be more than fine. We have Connor in the comments saying that Blake Shapen is good. He very well may be, but what Oklahoma State has done to starting quarterbacks in the Big 12 has been pretty
Yeah.
brutal. So that's the worry for me. And I'm open to the possibility that this is a game in which both quarterbacks turn in sloppy performances, and
Yeah,
it's
right.
the team who's able to overcome those that wins. I'm fully open to that potential, and that's what you hope for if you're taking the points here with Baylor. But beyond that, it's hard to see a lethal Baylor against Oklahoma State. It's difficult, at least for me. I'll speak for myself here. I'm just gonna roll the dice. What we've seen out of the back half of Oklahoma State's schedule, especially on the road, they've really come to play. So I'm going Pokes.
The other game of note at high noon, while we're here, we might as well talk about Kent
Sure.
State, Northern Illinois. That's the MAC championship game. They played at Ford Field. Kent State favored by 4, despite the fact that they've got a 7-5 record. If you look to see what Kent State did and look at who those 3 losses are against, I believe it's Texas A&M, Maryland, and Iowa, if memory serves. It's some combination of really good teams. And
you just concluded Maryland in a category called really good teams. That was so nice.
Let me back up. Some combination of teams that are still,
some of which are decent Power 5 teams. Yeah.
Some of which are decent Power 5 teams, and 3 teams in total that should be very difficult competition for Kent State.
Yeah.
And proved to be difficult. That's why they lost to all 3 of them. Kent State favored by 4, despite the record. I love the big Tom Hammock story at Northern Illinois because before the start of the year, there was some question like, this is a proud program that's been good for a while. Which direction is this whole thing headed? They pulled it together. Kudos to him. They had a good year, 8-4. They're in this game. I still favor Kent State here. I think I like Kent State, the flashes, but I think the story of Northern Illinois getting back to this game is actually what I'm most interested in.
Rocky Lombardi.
Yeah.
I think he's playing. Rocky's playing, I believe, resting up for this one. And when they played before, it was a crazy shootout. It was very entertaining. It was a midweek game or a late week game. It was not on a Saturday. And fun as hell. I'm hoping for the same thing in this game. Hopefully we have 2 good quarterback performances. Certainly what Kent State has been able to do on offense within MAC play has been quite impressive. So no, this is one if Oklahoma State Baylor gets out of hand in either direction, you got this one. Absolutely. Or if you're a fan of one of these teams, you're putting it on the big screen anyway. Good for you.
Yep. If Baylor, Oklahoma State isn't your cup of tea, flip on over to Kent State, Northern Illinois on ESPN.
Yep.
Again, they play it in Ford Field. That's our early window. Do we want to move to the afternoon slate or do we want to do comments?
Let's get some comments and questions here. We got Dude Alert, Sincere McCormick last night for the UTSA Roadrunners. I have the sound here. Where's my soundboard? Uh-oh. There's my There it is. UTSA, of course, your conference champions in Conference USA. So it's great. It's wonderful. UTSA, a great story. Bill Connolly on our show on Friday was a little bit concerned that some of UTSA's results have been fortunate, to say the least. But Western Kentucky, with that defense, tough.
What
they fought
defense?
back the toppers.
What defense?
It's exactly right. It's exactly right. I'm totally on board with Sincere McCormick. Dude Alert. What about last night? Hector Perez says, I'll get rid of the comment thing. We talked about it at the top of the show. I suppose you can watch the replay. You can watch the video I posted on Twitter. I think we retweeted it from the Solid Verbal account as well. Those are my thoughts. It wasn't great, but we can catch up. I'm still bummed out and I don't want to talk about it. Poke's going to choke per Greg.
Whoa. Hey, that rhymes, buddy. Good one.
Yeah. Oklahoma was used for another school, but now I guess that Oklahoma State is in the catbird seat. Perhaps all Oklahoma schools do. My money is on Quinn Ewers. Oh, can I ask a food question or is that a nah? Yeah, Ben, absolutely ask a food question.
Come on, dude.
My money is on Quinn Ewers, who was the #1 quarterback in the country for this coming class, who reclassified to last year's class at Ohio State, is now transferring, headed to Austin, where there is certainly a need for improved quarterback play. He was at Ohio State. So, okay, fair enough. New Miami AD? Don't know. I know Dan Radikevich was getting noise and smoke yesterday. Clemson, he was being offered like $3 million to be the Miami AD. Seems like a lot to sort out in Coral Gables. And maybe they will. It seems like there's
Yeah,
lots to sort out.
if you read some of the insider accounts, there are 68 board members on their board of trustees. Everybody thinks they're in charge, therefore nobody's in charge.
Yeah.
They need an AD. It appears that they're split on what to do with Manny Diaz. Obviously, the crystal ball stuff has surfaced over the last, couple weeks. It hasn't been it wasn't just last night that people were talking about it. It's been kind of a slow and steady drumbeat
Sure.
of Mario perhaps going back to Miami. So we'll see. We'll find out in short order if that's going to be a thing or not. But to date, nothing has really openly dispelled those rumors. We do know that Oregon has put an extension in front of him to hopefully keep him in Eugene, but whether or not that gets signed, that's the open question.
Hi, guys. Just got back from a workout and chilling with y'all before the game start. I just got back from a workout and I'm chilling with you. How about that? Played okay tennis. Inconsistent, but the return was there, which was really nice.
Did you win?
No, did not win. Lost 5-5. But played. My serve wasn't there, but played okay. I played okay. I made plays. I made winning plays. I was pretty good at the net. I just got to put it all together, Ty. I really just need to put it all together one of these mornings. Yep. Ty, assuming A&M is a good team, according to Aggie Jason, when referencing Kent State's
hold on.
Aggie
Jason.
Fine.
A&M against Kent State. A&M might not be like a top 15 team in college football, but A&M relative to Kent State, yeah, that's a good team. So I don't want to hear it.
By the way,
next question.
What a bummer it is to beat Alabama and then watch the second half of the season go by and be like, well, I guess it's fine. Because Alabama struggled.
It happens.
I guess.
It was a good moment.
Yeah, it's true. Dan, you should give Canzano. I don't even want to talk about this. A read from last night. John Canzano, who's like an Oregon State guy who writes for a Portland newspaper, said Oregon was pushed around. Okay. There's a lot of like West Coast writers, and I don't need to. This is so boring that it's even boring me as I say it out loud. But there's a lot of West Coast writers who are like, wouldn't it be cool if Oregon State played Arizona in the Pac-12 championship? Wouldn't it be cool if we just had a bunch of like underdogs that were like overlooked and like 19 Scooby Wrights on the field? How cool would that be?
They use that voice too, which a lot of people don't know.
Yeah. Here we go. Dan, a while ago, you talked about a restaurant that does a roasted corn. I got this. Bee's Cracklin'. It's in Atlanta. B''S Cracklin'. Look it up. I think Bon Appetit. It's an amazing corn salad. Thoughts on the crazy carousel? Ty, Hector wants to know.
Man, it might not be over, Hector. We might get more.
No, I don't think who's Oklahoma's coach?
We don't know who Oklahoma's going to get. The Miami thing remains an open question. / Oregon. Virginia is looking for a guy. Not to say that's like the headliner, but
that's an interesting job for sure. It's interesting.
I think there is more to come on this front. What are my thoughts? The moves to get Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly were stunners, even if there were signs that along the way they might be interested in looking elsewhere, but they were stunners. As a Notre Dame fan, I am absolutely positively thrilled that they hired Marcus Freeman. I like the Brent Pry hire, at Virginia Tech. The West Coast jobs outside of Lincoln Riley seem fine to me. We've been pretty high on Kalen DeBoer. This is my problem pretty much every year around this time. I look at a new coach in a new place and I say, all right, I could talk myself into that.
Yeah,
I could make that work. And it's always the same thing year in, year out. And without fail, it's like a 50% coin flip. 50% of them work, the other 50% don't.
Well,
I will remain optimistic, Hector, is what I'm saying.
The Tom, I think it's Tom Fornelli, who was like, love the hire for school, have no idea if it'll work, right? Or it's just like, hey, that sounds like it could be good. The thing is, it's not the big things, right? It's not Justin Fuente is bringing his offense to Virginia Tech. It's Justin Fuente is hiring guys for a recruiting department. Justin Fuente is hiring a defensive coordinator to replace Bud Foster. Is that going to work out? Justin Fuente is trying to find the right portal guy or keep guys from entering the portal at court. Like, it's just the daily administrative stuff.
Right.
That's how we determine whether a coach wins or loses. And a lot of it is luck, injury luck, hiring luck, if guys are in the right headspace on your staff, whatever. So it's cool. It's cool that all these guys seem like they're going to work out. And I think we're going to dive into it this offseason and be like, okay, what does a Kalen DeBoer Washington program look like, right?
Right.
What does a Marcus Freeman Notre Dame program look like? What does a Brian Kelly? We got to see how they round out their stabs. We have to see how stabs, right? That's right. Stabs. That's how I say it. And we have to see the full picture, and then what the recruiting classes look like, what the following year's recruiting looks like, what spring ball is like. But yeah, there's no way of getting deep inside the program to sort of know and form a measured opinion anywhere near here. But we can sort of start to paint the pictures. We can bust out easels and say, okay, let's start painting. Let's see what we have here.
Let's bust out that easel for the afternoon slate, Dan, if we could.
All right. What do we have in the afternoon, Ty? You tell me.
Well, in the afternoon,
because I got the graphic wrong. Oh, I have the right graphic for the afternoon.
You
right?
do? Okay.
Okay. Good. Here we go. That I think is correct.
Yes, we got it. Cool.
Yeah.
4 p.m. Georgia, Alabama. This is the big one. I mean, come on.
Yeah, of course.
Come on. Who are we kidding here? Number 21, Houston against Cincinnati. Sort of the undercard, but a very significant game in its own right. We've also got here on the same graphic, we'll just call them all out while we're here. Michigan versus Iowa is the later game, as well as Pitt-Wake Forest at the same time for the ACC title game. There are some other undercard matchups. There's Utah State, San Diego State for the Mountain West. There's App State, Louisiana for the Sun Belt. What else do we got here? There's USC, California. We don't need to talk about that because that's not really a championship game.
Correct.
But
that's why I didn't put it on, because
no, that's fine. So of those 4 games, are we in agreement here? Georgia, Alabama is the one we're most excited for. Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, man, I live in a household that's very excited for Michigan, Iowa, but from a pure entertainment standpoint, of course, Georgia, Alabama, same page.
What is number 2? Is number 2 Michigan, Iowa, or is it Houston, Cincinnati?
Oh, it's to me, it's definitely Michigan, Iowa, because we have this opportunity to see if Michigan can slam the door on an incredible season and get themselves to what we presume will be the number 2 seed in the playoff. And that would be an incredible story to behold. I love, just like from a pure television standpoint, like, is there a game with Aiden Hutchinson and the Michigan defense? I'm into it. I'm into watching that. And, that is my answer, because I think it's a great story to behold, and I'm just more confident in Cincinnati taking care of business against Houston, and so that game doesn't hold as much weight for me. But happy to be wrong about all of this.
It will be interesting. We talked to Bill Connolly again. Go back on solidverbal.com, check out our Friday show. We talked about that Houston-Cincinnati game, and on our preview earlier in the week, you and I were very like-minded in that we trust Cincinnati to take care of business, not just because we think they're the better team. Everything on paper points to them being a much better team, but also because they've played really well in big games this year. They've had their moments, but in the games that really matter, the Notre Dame game, the game we saw against SMU, to a lesser extent against ECU, after they had eked their way into the top 4, they took care of business again. So this is a team, I think, that time and again has really shown that when it matters the most, they play well. And I would expect something very similar. Bill Connolly, who, let's be honest, knows more about all this stuff than you and I combined, he wasn't as definitive on the Cincinnati side. He's been pretty consistent in saying Cincinnati's a good team. Cincinnati's got a lot of attributes that make them top 4 worthy for sure. Yeah. But he is not necessarily counting any chickens before they hatch in the American Championship game, because Houston has gotten better. Houston brings a ton of pressure. They don't blitz a lot. Houston still has, a fairly veteran offense that they could lean on. This team has definitely gone to another gear this year under Dana Holgorsen. Took a while to get there.
Yep.
After a few seasons for Holgo, but it seems as if they've turned a corner and they're going in a good direction. So there's a lot of intrigue in this game for sure, not the least of which is any chaos that could ensue if Cincinnati goes down. But I think also it'll be an interesting sense check to see how far along that Houston program is under Holgorsen.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely will be. And I hope that all of these games are good. I'm just of the mind now, Ty, because it's championship. I think we need to be the champions of picking games and the flags we plant, right? I don't want to sit on any fences today. I don't
Okay, no
I don't want to
offense.
say like, well, since I don't know why been doing this voice today. I don't know. Maybe
That's
it's
your Pac-12 writer voice.
I
Right
think
there.
if the Pac-12 will be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what if Colorado should make the Pac-12 championship game more? I am of the mind that we got to say, I think Oklahoma State is winning. I think they're winning big, and I feel good about it, right? I want to hear it from your gut. I want to hear it from
Okay.
my gut. So that's why I'm saying Cincinnati big. I'm banking on it.
Whoa.
But
Okay.
without actually banking on it and spending money.
Yeah.
I'm throwing my 174.5 pounds behind my picks today is what I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing for me with Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And I said this on the preview. For folks who listen to it, I sound like a broken record, but I really mean it. We have done this show for a decade plus now, far too long.
Mm-hmm.
Every year around this time, it's the same stuff that we're talking about. We're always rooting for chaos, and there's always a group of 5 team that feels jilted. For a long time, it was Boise State. Back in the day, we had TCU. Like, it's been UCF. Like, there's always a team that works their way into that top 10 and is just written off for dead by the committee, by the bowl committee, whatever, BCS, whatever it's been. How big of a hypocrite would you be if at this late stage in the 2021 season, where Cincinnati realistically has a shot, they will be in if they win?
Of course. Yeah.
How big of a hypocrite would I be if I spent the last decade telling people root for chaos, the group of 5 teams getting screwed, it's not fair?
Yeah.
If I rooted against Cincinnati at this point,
but if you believe in your cojones, Ty, if you believe in the Houston Cougars,
I don't though. I don't. And that's my point.
Don't pick the team you want to win.
I'm not.
Okay,
I'm saying the team I
you.
want to win is Cincinnati. I want Cincinnati to win, and I say that as a Notre Dame fan.
No, but
I want the Bearcats to win.
That they're going to win.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do. I trust this team. I'll plant my flag. What's it? 11.5? It was 11.5?
Yeah.
10.5? Whatever.
Look, and I don't care if you're picking underdogs. I don't care if you're picking a tight game. I don't care about anything. I just want you to believe.
No, I do believe. I'm in,
Okay.
man.
How many pounds are you putting behind this pick? You got what do you I'm looking at you. 157?
What?
What is your current weight?
Oh, I'm at my playing weight, about 155.
Yeah. So you're putting your 155. I got you by about 20 pounds and 4 inches, something like that.
That's I thought you were asking if I'm going to bet $155, to which I would say absolutely no. I'm not. That's that's too rich for my blood, but
right. Okay.
No, we'll put the full brunt of the 155 behind Cincinnati here.
I like
on
it.
that point, Georgia and Alabama. Alabama is a 6.5 point dog. I would put all 155 on Alabama plus 6.5. I feel strongly about that.
So I did too, but I find myself trying to take teams and pick teams because of abstract reasons, right? You're like Nick Saban with, he's had time to prepare for this, not real time, but like they've been looking forward to Georgia for some time, knowing that they're going to be playing the Dogs. And so they have time to say, okay, this is what we are or are not showing in the games leading up. And when I was talking to Jeff, when we were doing big boy bets, I don't know if you saw this clip or if you listened to the show, he's like, it's possible that Alabama scores 7 or 10 points against Georgia. It is absolutely possible that they are they were unable to move the ball and come through on 3rd downs, 4th downs against Auburn last week. He said the right side of Alabama's offensive line, like you mentioned on this show,
is a real problem.
Fundamentally broken from where it was last year, the year before, whatever. And now they're facing a team that comes at you in violent waves.
Yeah.
And so Jeff is just like, it's at least on the table that this is a 31-10 game, a 28-7 game. And I didn't fully consider that. Now, Alabama can figure out ways to hide that line or whatever, but this isn't Tennessee. This isn't Arkansas. This isn't even A&M, who they've already lost to, but they moved the ball against. So that got me worried. And so I'm trying to avoid the abstract. I'm going to reverse my pick, but what stands is the one I picked on the show. But as we stand right now, I'm saying if I had to do it over again, I would take Georgia minus the points.
Am I detecting a little bit of fence sitting though?
It's total fence sitting.
That's not the emphatic nature of the picks that I think you're going for.
Jeff swayed me to throw my cojones behind Georgia this morning. That's all I'm telling you right now, where If a team has a broken offensive line, it's not fixable in a week. And when you're playing
I think that's
Georgia
fair.
and those linebackers flying around, Jordan Davis eating up a lot of space, it's worrisome, Ty.
I am also worried about that, but I am throwing it behind Alabama plus 6.5, and that may be with failed logic. But Alabama getting 6.5 is just a rare opportunity.
What is your logic?
It's just a rare opportunity to get Alabama plus 6.5. How
you.
often does that happen? Again, we've been doing this show forever. How many times? You could probably count on one hand. I don't know offhand. How many times has Alabama gotten a touchdown? Like never? That never happens. So, yeah, I mean, there's a reason for it in this game.
I was going to say, you're going with the abstract, that you just have this ethereal opportunity to say,
no,
I'm taking the point. But what is, like, map it out for me. Is it Bryce Young just like weaving in and out of the Georgia defense and making plays? Is it him bombing and testing the secondary? What is the way in which Alabama is winning this game to you?
Well, it's on the other side, to be honest with you, because Georgia has looked awesome on defense. Everybody talks about the defense. They're going to give Bryce Young and the Alabama offensive line, especially on the right side, fits. They're just going to. But I'm actually more focused on what Georgia does on offense, because Georgia has not played a defense anywhere close to Alabama's. It's a very good defense. So how does Alabama win the game? How do they cover the point spread? This devolves into big dumb football is how that happens. Georgia goes out there, maybe has trouble moving the ball on Alabama. I don't know if I necessarily fully believe that, but I can see it. I can see it. We have not seen Georgia in a whole lot of high leverage situations this year. And so what happens if you got Stetson Bennett in a big spot? This is a game last year. I think he had 2 or 3 picks. He didn't look good. Like what? Or no, maybe I'm getting my games mixed up. But, the point holds that they were able to confuse Stetson Bennett to some extent last year. And I am a little concerned that if it devolves into a really close defensive-minded game, that's how you get Alabama plus 6.5. It's still tough for me to envision Georgia losing because of that defense. But we're at the point in the season where Georgia's been so dominant, people invent ways for them to lose. Maybe that's what I'm doing here, but I'm curious to see what they look like against that Bama front seven.
So do you have them winning the game outright, but not winning by more than 6.5?
24-20. 24-20 is my final.
All right. I like it. I'm good with it. Were there any other games in this? I mean, we have the night window as well. Or do you want to take a break and talk questions and comments before getting into ACC Big Ten? Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
We have a lot. Let's go Rage and Cajun State. We are going to get into that. And that'd be a cool story if Louisiana was able to complete their Sun Belt run against App State. That'd be good.
Did I see that Billy Napier is now not coaching?
Is that true?
I have to go back and check. I saw a headline.
Please look. I had not seen that. Okay. That would be a good story. Dan, I'm sorry to tell you, Bees is no more. I know this. I think he's reopening. I think he has a lease in Atlanta somewhere. But the recipe, the corn salad recipe, remains online. So there's that. The original restaurant burned down. I did hear that. If Mario leaves, who's Oregon going to get? I don't know. There's only been one name to me. And I've heard a bunch of names. I've gotten texts from people like, well, if Mario leaves, look out for this guy. If Oregon were to convince Dan Lanning, who I don't think has any West Coast footprint, Georgia's defensive coordinator, but I've watched videos of him and I've obviously seen his defense. That got my heart thumping when I would see videos of him in the locker room and I see his defenses. I don't think it's going to happen. And it's obviously a risk when you take somebody from so far away.
Sure.
But yeah. Dan, are you a yeller and cusser when Oregon plays, or do you remain relatively calm? I get quiet when I'm sad, and I yell and swear when Oregon's playing well. It's sort of like that come get some. Like I really, Tom Wamsgam's jumping on the cabinet, pounding. That's what I am when Oregon's playing well. So that's who I am. What is an insurmountable first half lead for Georgia to have over Alabama? Same question, but second half. So if Georgia is up blank in the first half, how are we feeling about Georgia running away with it? And same for the second half.
If Georgia is up, see, I never count Alabama out. I just don't. I can't.
Okay.
But if Georgia's up 17, it's over.
Georgia's up 17, it's over?
Over.
That's a nice lead to sit on, Ty. That's
It's
a
over.
nice lead.
But 14, Stetson Bennett could throw a pick six. He could run one in. 14 is surmountable, but at 17, I don't know. That feels like too much.
All right. Yeah, I'm right around there with you, I think. The shade under 20, I think, would be a lot to overcome for Alabama.
Yeah.
When Georgia can just really get after Bryce Young. Though Alabama on passing downs has been elite. They've been spectacular. When forced to make those plays, they do make those plays. That Bryce Young is so hard to bring down and can extend plays and is good in that very specific kind of scramble drill way of playing. So Dan with a humble brag on his weight. Is that a humble brag? To weigh 174 pounds?
I don't know. Is it?
I don't know.
It didn't come across like that to me.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, oh, wait. I'm not rippling. I'm not Jack Fowler. I'm just a guy. I'm within a standard deviation of a dad bod. So, I don't know. I don't think Alabama scores at all. Car tire. I like that. He's saying it with his chest or her chest.
He is saying it with his chest. Car tire. Yeah. You are the man. You are the woman. You are the wheel. Whatever you are. Thank you. Thank you for that emphatic.
35-13 Georgia. Okay. I like that.
Give us, you know what? I like this. Give us your most emphatic prediction.
Yeah. With your
emphatic
chest.
prediction.
For
this week. One last job here on the program today.
Sure.
Most emphatic. Do it. Write it. All right. What do we got here?
He's not coaching the bowl, Dustin, I assume is talking about.
Oh, I misread that. That's my fault.
Yeah. If Kiffin can't get Miami, would he be interested in Oregon and the Brinks trucks that come with it? Now, maybe. I mean, obviously, he has his own West Coast experience, both with USC and the Raiders, right? That's where Lane Kiffin coached very briefly.
Yep.
So certainly would be an interesting name. I think schools are doing background checks on these coaches, and I don't think Lane's has come up super encouraging. And also the thing with Oregon is they don't pay a ton. Like, they've been very measured about the raises Mario Cristobal has gotten and what they paid. Mark Helfrich had a crazy buyout after he took them to the national championship game and Mariota won the Heisman. But they've been sort of measured with and I think they're prepared to offer Mario a big deal right now. So we'll see. I am so here for the succession talk because I mentioned Tom Wobsgams, who is.
Yeah.
Are you current, by the way, with Succession?
I'm not current. I fell off. I got bored with it about midway through season 2. Does it get better?
Season 3 started out really interesting and then petered off and got a little slow for me. But the last 2 or 3 episodes, bangers, Ty.
Does it go anywhere though? Does it go anywhere? That's the problem I have with it. I feel like it doesn't go anywhere.
I don't know if that's the point of the show. I think that's the conclusion I came to. It's just a bunch of horrible people yelling at each other and trying to get one over. Like, there's some really strong actors on the show, like guest actors this season. What would it take for a defensive player to win the Heisman? Even without a real contender on offense and both Anderson and Davis having great years, I don't see much hype for them. I mean, we've seen it in the last however many decades with Charles Woodson, that, having that element of your game be, lining up for special plays on offense and making plays in special teams in the return game, that can certainly help. But yeah, it's just, I think the toothpaste is out of the tube, that it's just this offensive award. I'm fine with Will Anderson or Aiden Hutchinson or Jordan Davis or Kayvon Thibodeau getting consideration, because I think if you had a draft in terms of, if you're like, okay, nobody has a team anymore, is Will Anderson going first overall? Is Aiden Hutchinson going? Like, I think there's a good chance, unless it's like a left tackle or somebody like a building block type position. But in terms of disruption of a game and really pouring havoc into the glasses of the other team you're playing, I'm fine with it. I just don't know what it takes, because Will Anderson, Alabama hasn't played in huge games this year. There haven't been Alabama LSU was not a circle the calendar game this year, and they haven't played in those matchups. So I just don't think he's that sort of household name. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Amid all the chaos and all the turnover we've had at the quarterback position, there have clearly been standouts. Bryce Young has been fabulous. Kenny Walker, Kenny Pickett, these guys have all been fabulous. They're all very worthy of it.
Mhm.
there has been less Heisman talk this year than I can ever remember. And maybe it's because in years past, we sort of knew who the front runners were or
Right.
should be going into the season. This year it was like Spencer Rattler, and he ain't even playing right now. So
Right.
it's very much an interesting scenario when it comes to the Heisman that we haven't seen in quite some time. Frankly, it takes a year kind of like this year where there is no clear front runner to
Right.
get a defensive guy in there. The problem is, I think there are a lot of really good defensive players, and they're kind of like canceling each other out to an extent. You know, the year with Charles Woodson, he was so great on both sides of the ball that it was
Right.
just like a no-brainer. You had
Well,
to
he
give
took
it to
down,
him.
who did he beat? He beat Peyton Manning, right?
Yeah, I mean, but it was a no-brainer. Like, you had to give it to Charles Woodson. Who
Right.
else are you gonna give it to? This year, you could give it to, Will Anderson. You could give it to, like, Nakobe Dean. Like, you could throw out a bunch of defensive guys who I
Right.
think would be worthy, and I think in the absence of one clear front runner on the defensive side of the ball, they all cancel each other out, and it's either gonna be Kenny Pickett, Bryce Young, or Kenneth Walker III,
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know
or
where
Matt
I
Corral.
Yeah, like I
Who
think
knows?
Bryce Young could win it today, right? Like I think your mainstream Heisman voter is really hoping that he or she can vote for Bryce Young after the great performance against Georgia in the SEC Championship game. Because otherwise it's going to be a crazy split vote all over the place and
Or
it's
Bailey
a full
Zappi. Why
toss-up.
not be Bailey Zappi in? Why not?
Man, Top Gun.
577,
OPP.
Top Gun.
Yeah.
Come on,
I'm
man.
good with it.
Yeah.
MK 2110 Baylor.
Oh,
Oklahoma State over
Baylor.
Baylor, excuse me. But yes,
I could see
I'm
that.
okay with that score. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Houston shuts down Ritter, wins by double digits. I love it. Speak with your chest.
Yes,
I'm not on
Alex from the
board.
chest.
I'm not on board, but I like it. I like
No,
the
this is good.
specifics.
This is good. Flex those muscles. It's bright and early.
Yeah.
Saturday morning is the last chance we're going to get to do this during the season. So, yeah, let's get the crazy predictions out there.
Mr. Pizza Coley, no lead is safe. Bama is the Michael Myers of college football, slowly walking towards you with a knife until you fall. They catch up and massacre you. So that's the belief in the zombie tide.
The zombie tide. Where's my sound? I had it.
Yeah.
I might have taken it off. But yeah, zombie Alabama. When Alabama tastes its own blood.
Yeah.
Strange occult things happen, Dan.
That's true. Do you have a sound?
Strange things happen.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of people talking Succession. I'm weeding through the Succession comments. If Hutchinson knocks a helmet off like Clowney and has 5 sacks, then maybe. Okay, this is my map for you. And the problem is it's Iowa's offense. So people are going to be like, yeah, but it was Iowa, which is what it's going to say on Iowa's poster next year. Here's the schedule. Yeah, but it's Iowa.
Right.
Aiden Hutchinson needs a pick 6. What does he need to like? He needs a pick 6 where he hurdles a dude, because we talk about Heisman moments sort of tongue in cheek, like, RG3 throwing across his body and beating Oklahoma with that crazy throw. But also, you do kind of need him. You do kind of need the thing that blows up on social media. You do need the thing that people can immediately picture. And Aiden Hutchinson wrecked shop against Ohio State, but that was 10 years ago, right? And there was no singular play where you're like, man, what he's a decathlete lining up at defensive end. So that's
I found my sound, by the way.
Please.
Time.
Yeah. Continue.
I liked your sound better, to be honest. I thought you did a great job.
We can isolate that.
No one's talking about the ACC. Wake by 3 scores. Go Demon Deeks. That's our transition to talk about the night slate.
That is our transition. Let me flash this up before
Yeah.
we go any deeper into this thing. I've been doing this now the last couple weeks running.
Okay.
Here are my picks of the week. So I had a 4-1 week last week.
Yes.
If I would have went 5-0, which I'm already down 1, it would have been 63% on the year, which is pretty good. Now I still have a chance to finish above 60%, which for me would be a personal best. I was on Western Kentucky last night. That didn't work.
No,
I was on Utah. That worked famously. We've got 3 more bites at the apple today. I mentioned Baylor plus the 6.5. I mentioned Alabama plus the 6.5. The other one, and the reason that I bring this up now, is because of the comment we just got. I am in on the Pitt-Wake over. I think there is going to be just a megaton of points in that game. I don't see any reason why that game is under 71.5 points, whatever it's up to now. So I think that'll be a fun as hell game. I am rooting for Wake too. I think in the same vein that I root for Cincinnati. Wake Forest winning an ACC championship. them getting to a bowl game's like not going to drive ratings. I get that. I don't really care about
Your
that.
Mr. Cute story. Yeah.
It's a cool story, right? It's a cool story for Dave Clawson to get to
Yeah.
that game, to win that game, to get to a New Year's Six bowl. So I think a lot of points. I think it's back and forth. I think it'll be fun as hell. If the other night game is going to bore you to death with Cincinnati with Michigan and Iowa running big dumb plays every other play, flip on over to Pitt and Wake Forest, and you get plenty of activity.
The first 5 games Pitt played in went over, and then 3 of their last 5 went over. 8-4 on the season, hitting the over. Wake is a toss-up at 6-6, so there's a pretty good chance. What did you say that number was again?
71.5 is what I got it at.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That would be a fun over to root for. 2 good quarterbacks. I don't know what the weather is like, if it's mucky or something like that in Charlotte today, but if the weather is fairly decent and the field quality is fairly decent, I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. So
let's circle back though. Let's circle back and let's talk about the Michigan-Iowa game.
Do we want to talk about? I mean, you gave your pick for Wake. Do you want to talk about the game itself?
I just think a ton of points. I mean, I don't really have a lean one way or the other. I think it's a huge game for Kenny Pickett. And you want to talk about situations in which Bryce Young could win the Heisman. Kenny Pickett could win the Heisman. Freaking Jordan Addison could win the Heisman if he gets 25 catches, which is not totally out of the realm of possibilities, right?
Right.
So I'm looking for a ton of points there. Wake Forest has not really been contained that much. Clemson did a good job, but the Pitt defense, especially the Pitt pass defense, sure as hell ain't Clemson. So I just expect that we're going to see fireworks there one way or the other.
Okay, fair enough. So you're speaking with your chest. Your conviction is no conviction.
My conviction is over.
I don't believe a thing.
Points is my conviction.
You believe in the points. Okay, that's reasonable. Yeah. My conviction is with Pitt. I think Pitt will cover this, and I think they are likelier to get more important stops in this game. And I like in these specific scenarios, and this is why I picked. God, I'm losing my mind. Why I picked UTSA last night, because when a team does something poorly and that thing is defense, and you have a little bit of time to prepare for it and you have the athletes to prepare for it, it's really tough to overcome a shoddy defense. And so I'm going with Pitt here to be that team that eventually, I think it's going to be relatively close at halftime, and maybe it's going to be like 28-24 at halftime or something like that, and well on its way to hitting the over. But I think Pitt is that team to come up with those important stops and to, force a 3rd and 9 and just like get off the field.
Michigan, Ohio State, you married into a Michigan family.
Yeah.
You're going to be watching this game with bated breath.
No. Michigan already beat Ohio State. We're not talking about that game. That's old news.
What did I say? Did I say Michigan, Ohio State?
You did. It's okay. Michigan,
Iowa, Dan.
Yeah.
Iowa. That's what I meant. Mm-hmm. Married into a Michigan family. You're going to be watching this game with bated breath.
Yeah. And a large burrito, probably.
And a large burrito.
Yeah.
What happens when these teams play?
Well, I think the last time it was like a 10-3 game, right? 2019, something like that.
14-13. Yeah.
Iowa I'm almost positive it was 10-3. Am I wrong? You can look this up.
They've played 2 games in the Harbaugh era, and one was 10-3 and the other was 14-13.
Yeah.
So regardless, it's the same point, right?
I think this is a terrible stretch of quarterback play for Iowa. Like, even when the offense wasn't great, it was still like Nate Stanley. It was still somebody you're like, look, any given quarter he could go off. And maybe they don't score 40 points, but like, you trust his ability is deep down there in there somewhere. I don't trust it at all with this Iowa squad. And going down like they did to Nebraska, like I understand the ways they can win. I just think Michigan is too buttoned up. I think they're so secure in their identity. And part of that is just not making mistakes, not shooting themselves in the foot. And that's the type of team that Iowa struggles with. It's similar to Wisconsin. Michigan is a very rich man's Wisconsin in that they're just locked in on who they are. The self-awareness is very strong. And Iowa can make mistakes on offense, and Michigan tends to limit those. So I have Michigan here comfortably. 31-13, I think, was the final I gave on the show. And I'm speaking with my chest once again and saying I'm sticking with it.
I am sticking with Iowa.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Iowa because you don't always have to understand it with the Hawkeyes.
Mm-hmm.
But they play a tough brand of defense, and they've won almost the entire Ferentz era without quarterback play. They're like post quarterback.
They are post quarterback. Yeah.
In Iowa City. So I'm of the mind that Kirk Ferentz will find a way to keep this close. They will generate mistakes, even though it's a Michigan team that does not create. They don't make a whole lot of mistakes. They create them. I think Iowa will find a way to keep this close. I think it devolves into just a boring game. 3 yards,
Really?
cloud of dust, a
Okay.
lot of punts. I think Michigan's the better team. Michigan should win this football game. Make no mistake about it. That's what I believe. That's a lot of points, though. They're getting like 10.5, 11 points.
Okay.
I don't know, man.
You think
That
it's
weirds
your
me out a little
conviction is
bit.
that it's too many points. You think this is going to be a smash burger of a Big Ten championship game.
I do. I really do. Yeah.
And that's what it was the last time Iowa played in this game. I believe it was the 2015 undefeated team that went down to Michigan State. And if memory serves, 16-13, Michigan State ended up winning that game. So I believe that is an outcome. I think if they simulated this game 100 times, though, at least 60 times, it's a comfortable Michigan win. So I'm rolling with that.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of
Yeah.
being emphatic,
Yeah.
speaking from the heart, from the chest, here we go.
I love this. I love being anonymous and doing this.
Here is the deal. Here's
Throw it
what
out
we're going to
there.
do. We're
Yeah.
not betting 5K. We don't have 5K to bet with you, sir,
Yeah.
or madam. If Alabama gets shut out,
Mm-hmm.
email us at solidverbal@gmail.com. I will send you personally a t-shirt.
Look at you.
I will send you a coupon for free merch from our merch store. But here is the caveat.
Yeah.
Before you can qualify, you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Very
I
simple.
like that. Look at you.
Subscribe to the YouTube
Brokering
channel.
deals like a Miami booster. Go for it.
That's right. I'm Nevin
Yeah.
Shapiro over here.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel. If they get blanked, email me solidverbal@gmail.com. We'll send you a coupon. I admire the chutzpah, Dan. I admire that. Thank you.
Chutzpah.
Did I get it wrong? I got
It
it
was
wrong.
like you said hooks. It's hut with a
All right.
TZ, I think. I don't know.
You know what
Doesn't
else.
matter. Yeah, of course.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the stick-to-itiveness with that.
I like it, Car Tire. All right. Has anybody tried to hire
Yep.
Kyle, I believe he means Whittingham. Is it some sort of Stockholm Syndrome thing that I think Oregon should make a pass should Mario leave for Miami? I don't know how much longer Kyle Whittingham's coaching in Salt Lake City. Could definitely see him retiring after the Rose Bowl. Could definitely see it. I can't imagine Iowa's getting closer than the parking lot to Michigan. Wow. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
David.
David. That's
My
with your
man.
chest. Look at this. A lot of people, 24/7 Michigan in a boat race, 31-13 Michigan, which was my score. Iowa doesn't score a touchdown until garbage time. Dan Mullen to Oregon. I'm donezo if that's the situation. Full donezo. Where Oregon's like, look, Mario Cristobal's a machine on the recruiting trail. And it was just a bit much. Let's go the other. Let's Mike Riley this
throttle
sucker.
this thing back, man.
Yeah. We're getting too talented here. We're trying a little too hard.
Let me just throw something out there. First off, the point spread now on the Iowa game is 13.5. There is an overwhelming majority of the money on Iowa in that game. The percentage of the bets is about 50-50. 50% of the people go in Iowa, 50% go in Michigan minus the number.
Sure.
75% of the money is on Iowa in this game. So you can make whatever of that you will, but more money is on Iowa. I'm guessing because, look, it's a big game. You typically see that. It's not a new thing when you got a big game. One team's getting a lot of points. They've got a track record for playing good defense. It's not surprising that they would be getting an overwhelming share, 50% more of the money. But it is notable, despite the fact that we've got verballers in this chat here who are very adamant in that Michigan's going to win.
Yeah.
Fair amount of folks saying we like Iowa plus the number.
Michigan 11-1 against the spread this season. The number one team in the nation against the spread. Vegas has not been able to pin down the Wolverines. Maybe today is that day, but there is a good underlying number there that says Michigan is coming through. And the one time they lost, of course, Michigan State, they're up double digits in the fourth quarter. It's not like they were fully outclassed in that one. Go Deeks. We've got a Go Deeks there from Dylan, emerging alpha in the comments. A lot of Iowa shade, Dan, and I don't hate it, as the Iowa State logo and the red bird or whatever is in Chris's avatar. Even though I expect Michigan to win comfortably, never underestimate frisky Iowa and Harbaugh's ability to lose.
Frisky Iowa.
Well, okay, so if you believe that last week against Ohio State was a true blue breakthrough.
Oh,
Rhymes.
look at you.
Yeah, if that was a true blue breakthrough, then of course you take Michigan. If you believe there's value in saying one win does not change a trend, then Iowa's a great pick today. But from what I can see from my vantage point in the greater Chicagoland area, I think there's just, I'm driving by Michigan. This is legit. I drive by Michigan flags all day over here. Like there's a lot of maize and blue. Like there is just a lot of energy in the air for Michigan. And I don't think this is a look ahead game. I think Michigan's going to take Iowa very seriously. I just think, I don't know. I think there's a chance that Iowa's in for a walloping.
Another question. If you charge $9.99 for a monthly membership to a website called Frisky Iowa, you would get some people to sign up for that, wouldn't you?
It depends what's on the website.
Some sort of Match.com equivalent, but only for Iowa.
Oh, it's for Zazzy Hawkeye fans?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Or just Zazzy Iowans.
Iowans, okay, just in general.
Yeah, Frisky Iowa. You're geo-fenced in. You can't be, it's like the betting apps. They don't let you log on unless you're.
You can't have somebody from Belgium using a VPN to get in on the Iowa
They got that all
action.
figured out at FriskyIowa.com.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. Bama, Georgia goes to overtime, and it's just as awful as Penn State, Illinois. This is Posty Posterson. NCAA calls a special meeting to abolish the stupid overtime change before the playoff starts.
That would be like a CONCACAF move in FIFA. That would be something that they would do, changing the rules midstream. So I don't know if the NCAA is quite that defunct. That would be a bridge too far. Like, I don't think highly of the NCAA, but let's keep it in perspective here.
Can you imagine, by the way, if Car Tire is correct and Alabama gets shut out, what that offseason looks like? Now, Alabama could very well play in a big bowl game and acquit itself well, but being shut, that's an LSU move, being shut out in a big game.
Oh, yeah.
That's not an Alabama move. So the message board fires that are going to need to be put out.
Oh, yeah.
In the Alabama football community. Woof.
That would be tough. And talk about a neck crack for Georgia. If you're Georgia, if you shut out Bama, dude, party in Atlanta. Party in Atlanta.
Out Bama losing to Cincinnati. That would be the most Georgia thing to happen this season.
Yeah.
Man.
Cincinnati hugged them last year.
I don't think I have anything else to add, Ty.
I don't either. Thank you, one and all, for doing this with us all season long. Go down in the comments, go down in the description, and find all the relevant links. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast. We're going to do a big Week 14 recap show that will drop early on our Patreon, which is verballers.com. That'll come out about Sunday afternoon. We have to figure out when we're recording, because don't they do the rankings at some point in the afternoon?
Yes. I don't know what the official start time for that selection show. I think that's what it's called.
Sunday we'll figure that out. But if you're on the Patreon at verballers.com, you get early access to the show. Otherwise, it'll come out bright and early, 6 a.m. Eastern time on Monday morning. We'd love for you to subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel while you're here. I hate to keep reminding you, but it does help us out.
No, and what we'll do, but how about we could do this, Ty? We could record our show as per usual in the morning, and then we could do a live watch party, and the audio goes exclusively to patrons, Patreon subscribers at verballers.com. We could do something live or an immediate reaction thereafter. We can do all sorts of things, but I can tell you this: youtube.com/thesolidverbal is the destination for championship-minded people.
That is absolutely correct. We appreciate one and all stopping by. Remember, whatever happens on this championship week, week 14, do it from the chest, man.
Yes, sir.
Do it from the chest. Commit to the bit. We got one weekend left. The games are about to kick off. Enjoy it while we got it, folks. We'll talk to you soon.